You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
We've been talking about Wicked. We've talked about it from the live show standpoint. I had seen that. Tuwala talked about it from the cinematic experience. He's seen that. And then we both came across this story, and I got strong feelings about this one. People are going to see Wicked in the theater, and they seemingly can't resist the urge to use their phone to record key portions of Wicked and posting it online. You heard that right. In fact, the full 4-minute conclusion to the first part of Wicked is currently floating around social media on X and TikTok. You're probably wondering, well, is that legal? No, it's not legal, but they're not chasing after the people who are doing it. And for me, it's less about whether it's legal. It's about whether it's legal for me to kick you in the head for doing that in the middle of the movie. Imagine that you're sitting in a theater and you know I don't like the obtrusiveness of people around me, okay? Put your phone away. I don't want to see the light of your phone. I don't want to see you texting. I don't want to hear you texting. I don't want to hear you on the phone. Now imagine that you're holding your phone up high enough to get the screen and not get people's heads in your shot that you plan to put online. And it's a musical, so you want to make sure that you're getting as much music as possible. I'm sitting the row behind you, hypothetically. I'm going to do everything in my power to ruin your video. I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be yelling. I'm going to shake the back of your chair so your phone is unsteady. If you have the dirty nerve to put your phone up with the light on and everything so you can record a piece of the movie while the movie's going on, yes, you're going straight to hell, and I'm going to kick you in the head.
Shame on you.
No, but that's why I don't want to go to the movies all the time, because people don't know how to act. The story is how people, they're looking at this through the lens, no pun intended, of it being a piracy issue. Yes, it is. You don't get to go to movie theaters and tape part of it and put it up online for everyone to see. Now, some people were concerned with the fact that they're giving away the conclusion of the movie. Well, I've already seen it. You know, I've seen the stage show. And Tuwala, you said it ends right at where the first act ends. Okay, yeah. So you're not ruining anything for me as someone who's seen the live show, the musical, but you're definitely ruining it for people who are physically in the theater at that time watching it. And you see all these cameras going up around you like you're at some sort of concert or something.
And it's such an important part of the movie, because anyone who has seen the stage play, when you see this scene in the movie and you hear how they interpreted it, the film version of that, it plays out differently, and it can come across as a major spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it. And I get it. These are young people in there. These are super fans or whatever. And the thing about it, it's not just Wicked. It's just that Wicked is one of, or the film company behind Wicked is one of the first to say, we don't care. Post away, get it out there, get the word out there.
It's marketing for them.
Yeah, for them, because this was happening with Deadpool, Wolverine. This has been happening with, there was one horror film that just came out recently where people were posting a super cut scene of all the smile of all the different smiles in the film, or all the death. So it's just like, this seems to be what's happening. And what world are we in right now where people are okaying coming into theaters with your phones to ruin the experience for everyone else just so you can grab those views?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm more angry or upset at the people doing it or social media for allowing it. I think that there is some responsibility for these social media platforms, because it's not uncommon for them to take down other people's intellectual property. You know, like if you get on YouTube, if something's already copyrighted, they'll pull that down in a heartbeat. Doesn't matter. I had to fight to get my own material back up on YouTube. I did an interview with a number of people over the years, and because it had some copyrighted material from a movie that we were talking about put in the video, they tried to take it down. It's like, look, I'm talking to the dude from the movie promoting the movie that you wanted him on my show to promote. And now you want to take it down? It was Courtney B. Vance, because we were talking about the O.J. Simpson documentary. He was playing Johnny Cochran, okay? And so there was some clips from the People versus O.J. Simpson. And I guess whoever owns the copyright, whatever network it was on, I think it was FX, yeah. FX complained. They wanted the video taken down. I said, wait a minute. You want the video, which is me and Courtney B. Vance sitting and talking about this, and we also added a clip from it. You want that taken down, but the only point of having the interview and the conversation in the first place was to promote your stuff. And also TNT did it to me. Remember we had the interview with Charles Barkley?
Yeah.
Okay. And they filmed a part of it in this damn studio.
Yes.
Okay. And it was me and Charles Barkley. It was from American Race on TNT. I put that up on my video. It's been taken down. Why? Because it's copyrighted TNT. Mother, father, it's me. It's me.
We
on
actually
my
gave
show
them the green light. Wait a minute. They got the green light to film that from us.
Yes.
Oh.
And I kept fighting and fighting. Could never get it back. I was on TNT with Charles Barkley about 7 years ago for his multi-part documentary, American Race. You can still find it. It's still out there. But my point is, if it's important to a studio, yeah, they can have it yanked down in a heartbeat. It can be done by AI. Honestly, it's almost like encoding. If it comes up anywhere, it'll automatically find it and they'll put it in a complaint, and you can have your account shut down or your profile shut down. But my point is, I'm less concerned about that and more concerned that the willingness and I will say the pervasiveness of how this is happening with many movies now, where it used to be, and you know this, Twala, it used to be just the trailers. Like people would sneak their phone into Comic-Con and they would, surreptitiously tape one of the new exclusive trailers from like a really bad angle, and you can't even see all of it. It's really dark, and that's how they would get the word out. But that was the extent of it. Now they're just trying to go for spoilers, really important portions of movies. And for me, as someone who's always on the internet, you're eventually going to ruin a movie for me because you're going to accidentally stumble across something. You can't help it.
Yeah.
And I blame people like Mark Ronner. He should do more.
When the four of us all go to a movie together and somebody, say, across the auditorium has their phone out, you can see me like trying to figure out what I'm going to do about it because it drives me insane. So imagine being behind or next to somebody who's filming part of the movie on their phone. No way. No way.
I would be standing up. I would be making noise. I would say, hey, put your phone away. I don't care about defying gravity. Put your phone away. This is not going up on the internet. What's your name? So I can tell everybody.
Bunch of filthy animals.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Pastathon is almost here. It's coming up on Tuesday. I will be there. And as I said, for when we had our pre-Halloween soiree, I wanted to meet you then. If you didn't have a chance to come out and say hello to that, then please come on out to the Anaheim White House on December 3rd, this coming Tuesday. I'll be there and we'll be doing the show live. We'll be doing all the shows live from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. And this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And also, by then, we'll know who will be the winner of the KFI auction item that we've offered up for the opportunity to co-host the show one night. We're not talking about 2 segments. We're not going to sit here and interview you. You're actually going to sit in the chair and co-host a show. You'll probably even be doing some segments where you'll lock in and lock out. What do you mean, Mo? Here's locking in. KFI AM 640. It's Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And now we're going to talk about that's locking in. What is locking out? Oh, look at the time. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Now to you, Mark Ronner, in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. That's locking out.
Yes, locking out is awkwardly throwing to the news anchor.
Out of nowhere.
You, too, could experience this.
Would it be fun? Put that on as your ringtone or something. That'd be very cool.
Or like a text.
A text, yeah. Or an audio emoji. Yes.
Cool. Very cool.
And there's only one way you can do it. You can't do it by calling into the show. You actually have to be here in the studio on the mic. And we're offering you that opportunity. You just got to go to KFIAM640.com/Pastathon, and you will see the auction items up for bid. I can't guarantee you that there will be no competition. I'm just saying the opportunity is there for the taking. And it's going to be a great day. We expect to raise plenty of money. And not only that, it's not about the money we raise, but it's also the lives that we change, the kids that we feed. And it doesn't have to be done all on December 3rd. You can donate or bid on exclusive KFI auction items that I was telling you about right now at KFIAM640.com/Pastathon. You can shop at any Smart and Final store and donate any amount at checkout. Go to any Wendy's restaurant in Southern California and donate. Donate $5 or more and get a coupon book worth $15. And 100% of your donation goes to Catarina's Club. And let me just say in advance, thank you so much for your support.
It was a trip I actually did get Wendy's last night for real. And to see those signs saying, oh, help the Catarina's Club, and to see the KFI AM 640 logo right there, I was like, oh yeah, there it is.
See, that's what I need to do. I've seen it obviously in a Smart and Final because I was hanging out with Bill Handel and Neil Saavedra this past weekend in a Smart and Final. But I haven't been by a Wendy's yet. And I didn't get a chance, unfortunately, to catch up to Tim Conway Jr. when he was working the drive-through window at Wendy's. I've seen the pictures, but I know it was much more hilarious in person to see him attempt to take and fill people's orders.
I wish I could have seen that.
I don't know how much they allowed him to do, but whatever they allowed him to do, I am all for. If you had him scooping out the fries, yes. If you had him actually taking orders and taking people's money, yes. I wanted to see all that. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see it. I saw some of the pictures, some of the video, but I wanted to be there and laugh at him because I know it had to have been hilarious. But all this is for a much greater cause than any of us or what we're doing. It's not about us. It's not about KFI. It's about the kids. It's about Pastathon. It's about Catarina's Club. It's about changing their world. And if we change their world, we're improving our world.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And the latest in the world of Disney is this. The Walt Disney Company has agreed to pay $43.3 million to resolve a lawsuit brought by a group of female employees who alleged gender pay discrimination at Disney. And the proposed settlement was filed at the beginning of the week. And in addition to setting up a $43.25 million fund to pay about 9 different plaintiffs, Disney agreed to hire an, quote, industrial organizational psychologist, close quote, to provide training to Disney executives overseeing the organization of jobs. The lawsuit, just to give you some backstory, began back in April 2019 with just 2 women, LaRonda Rasmussen and Karen Moore, but eventually ballooned to 9 women who alleged that they were being paid substantially less than men who were performing similar duties. Part of the issue the plaintiffs' attorneys have long maintained was that Disney hired women at lower salaries, which established a system in which women would never catch up. They would continue to be underpaid even as they advanced in the company. Specifically, Rasmussen worked as a manager in product development for Disney in Glendale, which is about maybe 5 minutes from here, and raised an issue with management that she was not being compensated fairly, alleging that men who held the same title as she did, men were paid from $16,000 to nearly $40,000 a year more. And I have a genuine question, and I don't know the answer to this. Mark, you may. Stefan, you may know the answer. Maybe I've overlooked something. I don't know what my colleagues make here. I don't know. I can guess. I can assume. I can say years of service, popularity. I can imagine something. But I don't know what my colleagues are making. How, because I'm thinking this is privileged information, HR information. How would any of these employees know that someone else, male or female, was making X amount of dollars or even that much more unless that other employee told her or told them?
Well, you just got to share information down in the tunnels below Disneyland.
Well, does that mean that the men were actually helping out here? That's my question.
Well, it goes to follow, I think.
That's what I wonder, because because it doesn't say in the story, and maybe it is somewhere else. It doesn't say in the story that male employees served as witnesses or were on the witness list or on the deposition list or what have you, submitting evidence or something. Now, it was for as long as the suit had been going on, for the better part of 5 years, almost 6 years. I'm thinking that, the women weren't getting a lot of help for it to last this long.
Yeah, that's hard to say. And it serves big employers to stop people from sharing information like that.
Right.
And so the more everybody knows, the more they're getting, the more they're thinking, well, okay, I got a good deal. I got a raw deal. What the hell is this person doing, making more than me when I've been here longer or whatever? It's always in the employee's best interest to share that information with each other.
Well, only if you happen to be on the short end of the stick. Because let's say I'm making $4 an hour and Stefan's making $2 an hour. If I go and say, Stefan, I'm making twice as much as you are, I don't know if that helps our relationship.
Well, it may not, but I think a lot of people don't consider it a zero-sum game. Like, your $4 an hour isn't the reason Stefan's making $2 an hour. It's because Stefan is such a mediocre employee.
Well, but see, the women are saying, well, because we are women, we were offered less as a starting rate, and we were promoted less often, less frequently, and we were never going to catch up to our male counterparts.
It's shocking to me, and it should be to any human being, that there's still this massive disparity in the year of our Lord 2024 that women aren't making as much as men. How is that even a thing still?
It does not surprise me at all. What does surprise me is what I would perceive as a relatively small amount for the settlement. If you're talking, look, it's a class action suit, even though there weren't a lot of female employees, it's still a class action suit. I'm thinking that they would be able to get even more people to join if they had access to this type of information of what women were making, what men were making. And since Disney was willing to settle because they didn't want a lot of this information to come out, the specifics of what we're discussing right now, I was thinking that it would have been for a much larger amount. $43 million is nothing to sneeze at. But when you talk about lawyers' fees and you talk about the contingency fees, the women weren't getting a lot. Not a lot. When you think about the case had been going on for about 5 years, they're going to get 33% off the top. I don't know how much they're actually getting, or I should say, and whether that changes anything within the corporate culture at Walt Disney.
You might actually be onto something here, because $43 million for a company the size of Disney is almost go away money.
No, it is. And they did not admit fault. There are no specifics other than, I guess, the terms of the agreement as far as the money, but we don't know what exactly made Disney acquiesce. We don't know that. We know they're not admitting fault, and they're getting off with a relative hand slap, and the plaintiffs are not going to get a lot of money when you consider everything else. There's more we don't know than what we do know, but I found it strange that Disney was able to settle for such what I would call a meager amount, given they had this other information about what other men were making, what other men were hired at. It would seem like they had the goods, but it didn't pay off.
Yeah, Minnie was infuriated. She was like, "Can you believe what this a-hole's making?" This makes me curious for more, and I'm hoping that people who actually know the inside scoop might reach out and get in touch with us and leak a little information.
Yeah, there has to be more, because on its face, it doesn't make sense. If you have Disney, by the short and curlies, as they say, 43 million, just 43 million, a class action suit against Disney. They're going to pay their lawyers more than $43 million just to protect them from any other type of legal exposure.
Yeah, it really does seem like more and more just leave me alone type of money.
And there's this. I wonder if they blackballed themselves from the industry. Because usually, look, we see and hear stuff in this business, working in entertainment over the fullness of our careers, that if we told it all, and people have asked me, are you ever going to write a book? Yeah, when I'm ready to leave the business. Because I won't have any friends after that.
Well, no, because if you file lawsuits, you are known as the lawsuit person. It's not a big industry.
Right. And it's not like you're blackballed. It's just that there's this scarlet letter on you and no one will touch you most times. It's not like places are going to call around and say, hey, Mo has sued us. You better not hire him. It's not that. It's just that you're known as the person who sued, so nobody will touch you.
Oh, yeah. Don't be naive. It makes you radioactive. Even if you're in the right, it makes you radioactive to sue your employer.
Hopefully, someone will reach out and tell us more. It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And we have a Justin Bieber update. And maybe he's fallen on hard times. We'll tell you why and for what reason in just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Later with Mo Kelly.
KFI live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And for those who don't know me, just a quick reset. I used to work in the music industry, working for different record labels such as Capitol Records, Virgin Records, Interscope Records, Warner Brothers Records, and Independent Music Blitz Records. Worked for the Grammys for a few years as well. Usually in promotion, a little bit in A&R, which is artist and repertoire, and artist development. You learn the business. You learn how it eats people alive. People who supposedly have sold a lot of records and made a lot of money time and time again end up broke. You learn how it happens. And there's a rule that you should learn or know if you're going to be in the business, that the artist gets paid last. In other words, a music artist may get an advance on their album, and an advance may include the cost for studio recording, or if the artist needs a temporary residence so they can be close to the studio, or anything that they do in support of the album when they're going on what they call a promo tour. The record company foots the bill for all those costs. And then when the album comes out, the artist gets paid last. All these recoupable costs for the cost of recording, the studio time, your touring, the music video that you might have spent $1 million on. I know they don't do many music videos now, but I'm saying anything connected to making that album is paid back to the record label and your lawyer and your manager. The artist gets paid last. Most artists don't know that or don't realize that until they're well in their career, and they always end up asking, where the hell is my money? And then they want to allege that either someone ripped them off, which is possible, or they realize that they'll have to perform the rest of their life to maintain their lifestyle because they are not generating any income, because they don't either own the copyright, the songwriting copyright, so they're not making the money passively. They only have maybe the performance copyright, so they have to keep on performing to make money. Think about all that. Let me tell you about Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber, who we know made goo gobs of money. In fact, it was estimated that he had more than $300 million in his fortune. We know that he's been dealing with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. And if you don't know what that is, that's a shingles outbreak that affects the facial nerve near one of your ears. It can cause paralysis on one side of your face and hearing loss. Put another way, it makes it really damn hard to perform as a singer or any type of performing artist using your face. So there was a tour that I know Justin Bieber had to cancel, and he had not been touring for quite some time. He hasn't toured since 2023. It hasn't released an album since 2021. Do you know where I'm getting ready to go with this? Despite his $300 million fortune, Justin Bieber, from what we understand, is in a financial bind. And he's being forced to consider, against the health challenges, going back on what? Tour. because that's about the only way that he can maintain his lifestyle, even though he has a $300 million empire. And he is also allegedly considering suing his former business managers for allegedly mismanaging his fortune. Now, remember everything I said at the top of the segment and apply it to Justin Bieber. I'm not saying that he was not financially taken advantage of. I'm saying that artists don't usually figure out how the business works until well into their careers, probably when it's too late and they are not the moneymaker they once were. And so there's no way for them to maintain the lifestyle when they are at their peak. And I talked about this with Britney Spears. And it's not going to be long before she's going to have to go back out on tour for the same reason. I don't know how many songs that Justin Bieber wrote that he has the publishing credits for. I don't know. I do know that if he's considering going back out on tour after making some $300 million, somebody did something very wrong. Very, very, very wrong. And Justin Bieber is not that old, which means that he may have to perform the rest of his natural life if he's serious about maintaining some semblance of lifestyle that he has right now. This is a perfect example of why so many artists end up filing bankruptcy or going broke. I remember TLC. They had the biggest album of just about anybody's career. I think they sold like 18 million albums, something like that. And none of them had like a dime to their name when they're done with that album, the Waterfalls album.
Yeah.
And I remember
that album went diamond.
Diamond. So that's 10 million.
10 million. First album to go diamond by a group, period.
And how is it they all ended up broke? Here's the short answer. Well, they had multi-million-dollar videos, like that Waterfall video that cost multi-million dollars. What I say about the artists getting paid last, they had to pay that money back to the record company. The record company didn't do that out of the goodness of their heart. Also, TLC's manager was a former singer by the name of Pebbles. Your manager has the job of getting as much money for the artists that they represent. That's their job, okay? The record label, their job is to get as much money or keep as much money for the record label, okay? Well, Pebbles was married at the time, while managing TLC, was married to the president of the record company, L.A. Reid. So you had L.A. Reid literally in bed with the manager financially and personally with the manager of TLC. Talk about a conflict of interest. Well, there was no conflict. Pebbles basically sold out TLC. It was a horrible deal. And after selling 10 million records, they had nothing to their name.
Yeah, they were like living in apartments in Atlanta. People looking like, How? What?
Yeah. What? And I don't have time to go into points on an album, all that kind of thing. Long story short is, it's a very common theme where you have artists who sell so many records or have great financial success early on. And because of their deal or mismanagement, they end up with nothing to sustain them. Look, anytime you make 300 million, you should be set for life.
But people like Justin Bieber, who came into money without knowing what money is, spends money, according to all reports, spends money like it has no value, no meaning, no nothing. He spends money without looking at the cost of things, how the checking receipts, none of that. Just spend money without knowing that bills come due. You got a $16 million property and you're looking at close to just shy of $500,000 in property tax a year.
Every year.
Every year?
Every year.
Man.
Mm-hmm. It's one thing to buy the house. It's another thing to be able to keep the house. And Justin Bieber likely will never make money going forward like he did 10 years ago. He's not one hit away because he had a number of hits and a number of concert tours that he was selling out. You don't get two bites at that album. Apple. Can he survive and probably sustain himself? Yeah, but not living the lifestyle that he has been living.
He has to put out another album because him having to go on tour only shows that he does not have many writing or production credits on any of really the back catalog that he sold. much less anything else. If you're forced to go back on the road, that means you're only making money by performing.
And that's why I tell people, when you look at these artists who are 75, 80 years old, still on the road, with the exception of certain groups like Aerosmith, who are already, they have hundreds of millions of dollars for non-music, I should say non-touring interests. For the most part, they're doing it because that's about the only way they can sustain their lifestyle. And also, it's not like they have health insurance in the music industry. They have other people they also have to take care of. I'm telling you, when you see an artist like Justin Bieber, after making hundreds of million dollars, saying they're going back on tour, that's a hint and a half that they either mismanaged their money, someone stole their money, or they just didn't understand how the business worked when they first got in. This will be something we'll continue to follow, but hopefully when you look at the news more broadly, you'll see what we mean. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
If Carrie and Shannon show up to your Thanksgiving dinner,
it's going to be good. Why?
Well, one of them's going to have to sit at the kids' table. Doesn't matter which one. You want to keep them separated.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.